Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media. I hope and I believe that majority of you are still enjoying your holidays with your family and your friends. As a channel, we still continue to wish you happy holidays wherever you are, and may God keep on blessing you together with your family. Now, today, there's so much that is going on in the country right now. We have the festive season with us, and also we have abduction that has been called out by several readers, including church leaders have called out the government on abduction. We have the judiciary, and the Right Honorable Prime Minister yesterday did so. And everybody, I think, are calling out on abduction of uh, people, persons. And I also had a chance to watch the press by the IG where he was saying, I quote, the abduction has nothing to do with the police. So, who is abducting Kenyans? Anyway, that is not the topic of our discussion. Yeah, today I want to share with you um, few things. They might not be of great value, but to me, I feel they play integral part in the politics of Kenya. And in 2025, we'll be coming into 2025 towards 2027. And they are issues that the president should worry him for 2025, especially with the way now things stand, especially in Kenya, whereby I feel there's that disconnect between the government and the people. The people tend to speak differently, or what the people are speaking, maybe the government is not understanding. To what the government is conveying to the people, they're not understanding. So there's that miscommunication and understanding between two. So if we have such like scenario, I don't think things can work well, because there will be that resistance. If you're not listening to one another, so that is something that for me, I feel that based on, if you go to the social media, what people are commenting against the government, what actually the citizen want, they feel that the government is not doing what should be done. And the government on the other side was also insisting that, okay, we are doing what it should be done. So that disconnect right now, and that is there. So that's why you feel like people are quite much hungry with the government of the day. But that is not the reason why I'm here. Today, I want to discuss with you um, the reason why President William Ruto should get worried for the year 2025. And one of them is about impeachment. And there is the reason why I'm bringing the impeachment is about the process of how Rigathi Gachagua was impeached. Is very important, because one of the issues that played part in Rigathi Gachagua impeachment was about numbers. You know, and when we talk about the numbers, especially to be precise, the ODM members were invited to assist with the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua to add the numbers, or to meet that threshold in Parliament and in the Senate. So they played an integral part. And right now, we know that there's a broad based government. And the broad based government include basically Raila Amolo Odinga is in because he donated the experts. So the majority of MPs or legislators from ODM, quite a number of them, or good percentage of them, supports the government, or they're in government. You know, so that means when it comes to numbers, right now, President William Ruto is sitting pretty in terms of impeachment, because he has the numbers. There are those MPs that are loyal to him, and the MPs that are loyal to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who are in the broad-based government. So he's when it comes to impeachment, is good. But the question is, if there is a disagreement, if in case the broad-based government will collapse, if we take that scenario that the broad-based government collapses, what will happen? They can decide to initiate the impeachment of the president because all the ODM members will not support him. And right now, there are quite a number of members of UDA who are not in the same political ideology with the president, who are rebelling in the UDA. They can come together and initiate impeachment if there's a disagreement I mean, I'm talking about if there's disagreement in the broad-based government. They can come together and bring in accusations that we are impeaching you because of one, two, three, four things. You know, so out of the three or four accusations that might be leveled against you for impeachment, they will only confirm one, and you stand impeached. Yeah, yeah. So you should get worried about impeachment. Yeah. Secondly, when you look at the impeachment again, they lowered the bar for the impeachment. You know, they've made it quite much easy to impeach somebody or to impeach somebody in the executive. So that is something that the president should get worried about for the year 2025 going towards the election 2027. So the impeachment is something that he should not take off from the table. He should see on how to balance it, yeah, and by making sure that the broad-based government sells through. What are you going to do to keep it intact? So that is something that he should get worried of, and he should check it out in 2025 going towards 2027 general election. Impeachment, don't rule it out, because you remember what Caleb Amisi said one time, that he was told that we have to deal with the smaller fish, then we can deal with the bigger fish. I think I'm not quoting him exactly, but there was a statement that he said, and that one informed you that he the impeachment is something that is possible anytime soon. So that one president should get worried of. Secondly, very important, the Gen Z, the social media. President should get worried of the Gen Z and the social media. Yeah, because right now the population of the Gen Z is growing or has grown, and the use of social media. Because you look at the generation of Gen Z, they know on how they are very knowledgeable, especially when it comes to using the social media, especially when it comes to criticizing the government. You know, there's so many faces that they use in the way they criticize the government using especially the social media. One, the use of AI. They've perfected that. They're knowledgeable about that. The use of AI. You know, they've perfected the use of AI to pass information. Maybe it's not sitting well with the government, and it's resonating with the population of the Gen Z, and they keep on retweeting. Go to the any social media. Yeah, yeah. So that is something that he should look into. Again, the Gen Z with the social media, then comes about the abduction. If you're very keen uh, about what is happening right now, if you are very keen to look at the development, you know, every time when you want to make informed decision, you can make informed decision based on what is developing. So those are the results that make you to make informed decision. If you're very careful, or if you're very keen, especially for the young men who were abducted, including Tibet. If you go to their X spaces, yeah, there were big critique of the government and passing information that is criticizing the government. You know, so you find that those who are doing that critique, or those who are criticizing the government, putting the government pressure, they're the ones who are getting abducted. You know, if you're very keen, you just go to their social media. They use AI to criticize the government. Those are the ones who are those who are the ones who have been abducted. If you're very keen, and the more you do that, especially when you look into the Gen Z generation, this is a generation that the fear has left them. Yeah, they don't fear. Yeah, that fear is gone. You know, so the very moment they keep on they are being abducted, the more they are going to use the social media to create or to criticize the government. And each and every day they advance in their technology knowledge, you know. So that is something that also the government should watch out. And how are you going to deal with them? If you deal with them negatively, it's going to impact on the government. And remember, the young men who were abducted, they have family members, you know. And when you lose or your loved one is abducted, it creates more hostile environment, especially for the government, you know. And what will happen, the hostility will build up. Yeah, will build up, and it will now be it might build up to the whole country, because right now the judiciary has called out on the government, the church leaders have called out on the government, non-governmental organization have called out on the government. So which means it's going to be everybody's now is going to call on the government, and that one bring me to what I said earlier, the disconnect between the government and the people, you know. And what will happen, you never know what will happen. So there will be no communication, nobody's going to understand one another, and that one may lead to chaos, chaotic. So even if you're trying to implement your policies, no one will listen to you, or no one will take you so seriously. They will keep on you know criticizing you, because they know that if they criticize you, they criticize the government, that one even make you to continue maybe making more mistakes. So they were going to dwell to dwell on that and advance their technology in criticizing you by even using the AI. Yeah, so that is something that for the year 2025, the government and the president should watch out and find out way on how you can deal with them positively, on how they can understand, on how can you bridge that gap between you and the population, because you seems there's no that communication, you know. And I can remember in the administration of Kibaki administration, we used to have government spokesperson who would come and brief the nation, or even have time with the journalist to answer some questions. So the communication, that communication part is missing big time. So those are some of the things that they should watch, so that you can have this communication, even though now that you'll have critics, but you've laid down your communication and people would understand you more. But if that communication is not well, that we have that communication barrier, it will be still something that is not going to work well. So that is somewhere that I feel that the president should check on that. Another thing that is very important is about the outcome of Raila Odinga candidature um, in Addis Ababa, stroke, let's say the Mount Kenya politics, because it's all about politics for the 2027. I know where the president is making those steps on the strategies on how can I regain back Mount Kenya, because as we speak right now, this rebellion in Mount Kenya. So the president might be working on how he should regain Mount Kenya. We saw the other day he appointed the Uhuru Kenyatta allies into the government, and just to make sure that okay, he's bridging the gap between him and the Mount Kenya, or to quell that hostility that is there. So that is something that he should look for the year 2025, because if he doesn't look on how, it's going to be politics and hostility until 2027. So I don't know whether how he will maintain that. Coming back to the Raila Odinga candidate, and I want to look it into two perspectives. Two perspective. One, if Raila Odinga wins, you know, will he inherit the Raila Odinga fan base? Because that is maybe what president also is banking on. Since you've lost Mount Kenya, that trust between you and Mount Kenya is kind of like not 100% the way it used to be. And now you're supporting Raila Odinga for the Raila Odinga candidature to Addis Ababa. So if Raila Odinga wins, how sure are you that you're going to, how sure is the president that you're going to inherit, especially the Raila Odinga fan base? You know, come to, especially, let's talk about the Luo Nyanza. When you talk about the Luo Nyanza, we have Babu Owino factor. Uh, Babu Owino has been saying that Baba kienda, unabaki na nani? Na Babu. And if you're very keen, there are young people who are leaning towards Babu Owino. You know, remember when they went to Homa Bay, they tried not to give him a chance in Homa Bay not to speak. The youth demanded Babu Owino to speak. So how sure is president that he's going to win the support base of Raila Odinga and loyalty, especially the MPs who are loyal to Raila Odinga are going to be loyal to him. And remember, when you speak about the MPs of ODM, they are those who were handed over the nomination and now they are serving. Yeah, yet the ground were very hostile to them. How are you going to how are you going to be sure that you are going to inherit that? So that is one. That is if Raila Odinga wins. Now, in the scenario that Raila Odinga does not capture the seat, what will happen? And Raila will come and say, okay, because you fought for me, I'm endorsing you for the presidency. Yeah. If you endorse Raila for presidency, is everybody going to support you? Or if Raila comes back and say, okay, I did not win, now I have to chart my political path again, whereby now ODM is going to be independent. We are not going to be in a broad-based government. What is going to happen? Will the experts leave the government? Because if you're very keen in politics, I do not believe that if there was no broad-based government, that the president William Ruto would have appointed Honorable and Badi to leave ODM like that and go to serve in the cabinet of President William Ruto. That could not happen. But because there was a blessing of Baba in it, so he joined the government. But in the event now, Baba is campaigning and Baba has taken aside now, Ruto becomes his competitor from 2025 to 2027, that ODM is going to form government of its own. Yeah. How is president going to manage that? So he has um those are some of the things that I feel, those three, but I know there are several, but I feel the three are quite much important, especially the impeachment is quite much important because they've lowered the bar. There's also the issue of Gen Z, Gen Z, the social media activism that is taking part. And just to mention something about social media, if you're very keen also, the young people are taking on civic education on social media, yeah, educating you on how important is your vote, what you should do, you know, and so that is something that also is going to play part. Again, I forget to mention about yeah, I did forget to mention something about the professionalism. When you look at the Gen Z, majority of them are learned. They're engineers. Some of them are lawyers. It's a group of professionals. Yeah. So and they are bringing in their professionalism to chant their ways, you know, taking their country back. Yeah, those are some of the words they say. I remember during the Gen Z protest, there was this young guy who had do we call it gunia, akachora mpaka namba ya mama yake. Then somebody said that, Mama, if I die, let know that I was fighting for my country. So that's where I was bringing in the issue of fear. The fear in them is gone. That fear is gone. They are ready to face anything, provided that they're saying we're fighting for this country and we are getting our country back. So those are some of the few things, the three of them. They might not be kind of very useful or might not have meaning, but to me, on my view, I feel that they play a major role and they can inform decision in 2027 if he doesn't take them on consideration. So that's my view. And lastly, I want to thank all our new subscribers. and continue to support this channel by subscribing to the channel. Again, I want to take also this chance to wish you Happy New Year and enjoy your holiday wherever you are. Thank you so much.